Hello, team. I am super excited to come to you today. Well, hey, it's my birthday, and this is how much I care about you. I'm still recording this video because I think it's important, and it's a topic that I get asked the most as a coach, and I think it's important that I address it and talk to you about it, and hopefully this opens up a conversation and reflection about your own nutrition habits, because the question I get asked the most is, hey coach, what should I eat? Now, this has become a somewhat convoluted and confusing topic because there is so much information out there. And especially lately, there's been a ton of what would be termed as tribalism around these different nutrition or diet protocols that I think we need to have a more holistic and 30,000-foot view on nutrition from the perspective of looking at what are the key behaviors that, regardless of whatever nutritional practice you follow, is a fundamental component of doing that nutritional practice to the best of your ability. So whether you're fully plant-based or so you eat only plants, whether it's vegetarian, vegan, whatever it might be, you avoid dairy, you're a high-fat person, low carb, you're paleo, you love to eat bread, you're Mediterranean, you follow keto, whatever the case may be, there's definitely some fundamental key principles that everyone agrees with. And those are: eat more minimally processed whole foods. That term's thrown out a lot. What does it mean? It means foods that come from that are in their most natural state. And these are what I refer to as single ingredient foods. So an apple, a pepper, a cucumber, salmon, quinoa. So food that's not processed, that it doesn't come in a package that has 10 ingredients on it, that you can recognize what the ingredient is, you know the source it comes from, and it doesn't have a bunch of chemicals added to alter the taste or the chemical components of the food. So you want to add those single ingredients foods as much as possible. We definitely know that more vegetables are better than fewer vegetables, so add those in. How much is enough? Simply put, if you take your fist and make a fist, take your hand, make a fist with that hand. If you look at the size of that, that is one serving of vegetables. As an athlete, you should have at least, at a minimum each day, 5 of those fists of vegetables. If you're not doing that right now, and vegetables meaning a multitude of colors, not just bland colors, but lots of different colors in those vegetables throughout the day, 5 fistfuls is a place to start as far as getting enough vegetables during the day. Eating enough protein is crucial for your health, performance, and body composition. What I like to say is, whatever your source is, whether it's beans, legumes, dairy, fish, poultry, meat, pork, whatever your source of protein is, one serving equals a palm-sized portion. So if you open your hand and look at your palm, that is one serving. You should have at least one of those at each meal. Ideally, 3 to 4 of those servings a day for most people is a place to start as a baseline. So you want to make sure that you're having those. Again, this is highly individual. I'm making general statements here. You're an individual and your needs are going to need to be specifically tailored to you, but I'm giving you some general guidelines at least to reflect on your own nutrition habits. How do you know you're eating the right kind of food? And this is where you take an inventory and assessment of yourself, specifically in these areas. How are you sleeping? So what's the quality of your sleep? Do you sleep well? Do you have deep sleep through the night, or do you wake up frequently, or do you have trouble going to sleep, or do you have trouble waking up because you're so tired? These can all be impacted by good nutrition. So if you're not sleeping well, one of the places to look is your nutrition. Are you eating too late at night or too close to bed? I like for the sleep policy is following what I call 10-3-2-1-0. 10 hours before you go to sleep, cut out your caffeine. That's the half-life of caffeine in your body is 10 hours. No more caffeine, 10 hours before you have to go to sleep. 3 hours before you go to sleep, finish your last meal so that you're not sitting there having to digest, which can disrupt your sleep. 2, make sure that you are done your work at least 2 hours before you need to go to sleep, because if you're still working on something or doing something that's very mentally stimulating, you're going to have trouble going to sleep. 1, turn off all electronics an hour before you want to be asleep. Start to wind down, read a book, get into something that's going to relax you. And 0 is the number of times you hit the snooze bar in the morning. Routine is crucial. Going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time every day is super important for your sleep habits. So 10-3-2-1-0. Mood. What's your mood like? So do you have mood fluctuations all the time? Are you feel sad, happy, you're all over the place with your mood and not stable? This can really be impacted by your nutrition. So it's important to look at what your mood is like. Is it consistent or is it very irregular? Energy. Do you have stable energy throughout the day? Because if you don't, it could be impacted by your nutrition, especially when you're eating, around your training, around work, the types of foods that you're eating. Again, typically higher, more processed foods typically have a greater impact on your blood sugar, therefore your energy. They'll cause greater spikes in your blood sugar and cause greater spikes in your energy. Motivation. What's your motivation like? Is it stable? Are you a motivated person, or do you have trouble with motivation a lot? This can be impacted again by your nutrition. So it's something to look at. And lastly, your physical health, your blood markers, your hormones, your bone density. All of these things can be impacted by your nutrition. So making sure when you go to see your physician, get your blood work done, get your hormones checked out. Especially as we get older, bone density becomes an issue. Especially if you have history of fractures, that can be something to look at. Ultimately, you want to ask the question when you're evaluating your nutrition and its impact on your health and performance, how is that working for you? If you're doing something, ask yourself in relation to your sleep, your mood, your energy, your motivation, your physical health, is your nutrition habits positively contributing to your health and performance or not? And reflect on it from the perspective of these fundamental principles that everyone agrees on. Eating more minimally processed, single ingredient whole foods. Avoiding those highly processed foods. More vegetables are better than fewer ones. Eating enough protein. 5/5 of vegetables, at least 3 palm-sized portions of protein. And then checking in, how is that working with you, for you, so that you can really get a sense and evaluate your own nutrition lifestyle. I'm not advocating any sort of eating style. What I try to do with you is help you do whatever you want to do, whether it's plant-based or low carb, high fat, or Mediterranean, or whatever your eating style. Do that to the best of your ability and make sure that you're covering these fundamental bases. Empower yourself, check in with yourself, and make sure that you're doing these core behaviors to the best of your ability. Now, this information here I've gathered from Precision Nutrition. It's a company that I've worked with, I'm certified with, and if you want to follow them, they're at Precision Nutrition on Instagram and Facebook. They're a fantastic company. And what I like most about them is they do not advocate for any single principle. And this is one of my philosophies as a coach too, is whatever you decide is best for your nutrition, for you as a person, my role and my motivation is to help you do that to the best of your ability. So I hope what I've presented today has allowed a moment of reflection on yourself to make sure that you're doing the best you can from a nutrition perspective to help your health and performance. So thanks for checking in today, and we will be back with you soon. Go rock your training this week.